In this video, I want to talk a little bit more about how a ProPresenter handles outputs and displays and that sort of thing. So you're probably familiar with this. Obviously, if you've used a computer, you know every computer has displays that you can connect to it. Some only connect one, others connect multiple. The way ProPresenter works is it is able to take all of the displays connected to our computer here, and it can put different content on each one. So this Asus monitor, obviously that is the control monitor, the monitor you're looking at here, but there are other screens connected as well. So if we go up to screens up here in the preferences and configure screens, you'll be able to see all of these, okay? ProPresenter kind of brackets these into two categories. There's the audience screens and the stage screens, okay? There's the projectors, which you'll see is connected here. For whatever reason in the system settings, that output is not named anything, but you'll see it here. The ATEM Mini, this is the live streaming display. And then the atrium is the TV that goes out into the atrium. Now, interestingly enough, this is not actually a display output or a system output. It's this Ultra Studio 3G. It's a device from Blackmagic Studios that's basically a USB. So ProPresenter is able to talk to that and recreate an output on the other side. So we use that out in the atrium. Okay, and then there's the stage screen, which is just this. We have a roll-in video device that switches between the ProPresenter output and then just a mirror of what's up on the projectors. So you'll know, like in PowerPoint, you'll be used to when you hit display, you know, you have your kind of controls on one screen and then the output on the other screen. Well, what ProPresenter can do is kind of take that and and put it on steroids. It can control each of these different outputs, okay? So if I was going to add an output, I would pick, okay, I want this output tailored to, you know, this screen or whatever it may be. You know, you pick whichever output it is, okay? Then once these are divided, you can actually turn all of these outputs on or off up here. So you'll see two buttons. So I could turn the audience screens off and the stage screens off. And that's important because when ProPresenter is active, its output is the highest, it is the foremost thing on that screen. So it will always cover anything up. So if you wanted to, say, have ProPresenter open and display a PowerPoint, you wouldn't be able to do that. You'd have to turn that audience screen off for it to work, okay? So screens, configure screens, you'll see all the screens that we have up here. It's possible for these to get mismatched or something like that. So these get not connected to the correct display. So if you ever come up here and you need to figure out why something isn't going to the right spot, you can do that by just clicking on the output and hitting it here, okay? So that is basically displays. ProPresenter can output to as many displays as your device can handle. And then not only that, it can display different information on all of those things. So this is a pretty basic one, but this is the projector output here. But what I could do is, say, set up a live stream look so that when I go to this ATEM Mini or live stream, it's using this template. And the way to do that is configure what's called looks. So if I go up here, I can edit looks, all right? And then I can pick the different looks we have. So there's default, there's lyrics, title, slide, sermon, and pre-service, okay? And each one of these, so here's the default look, each one of these gets to pick which layers go onto that output. So let's do lyrics. This is the one we're looking at here. What you'll see is I've taken messages, props, and announcements off for that particular output. So here's the layer and here's the output. So ATEM Mini, that's our live stream. The only thing we want to show on that would be slides and then the slide layer, and then we have a template that's picked out for that. And I picked out this ATEM Mini template that I created. So it's taking this slide that we have and translating it here into this template and outputting it. But it doesn't show props. So see how the props layer is taken off, the announcements layer is taken off. So let me show you what that might look like. We had our wild game dinner. This is just a test, but I'll put up a prop. So when I go back to projector output, you'll see here's that logo, here's that prop. But when I go to the ATEM Mini layer, the live stream layer, you'll see that prop doesn't display. So again, this is a way to basically manage each of those outputs and the different layers that are involved in them, okay? So edit looks, you can basically pick a look for each one. And this is important because when we make slides, we want to use the correct look. So each of the title slides gets its own look, and then lyrics, and then there's a default slide, which basically just shows a copy of that slide if it's available, okay? And I made sure to take out, so like in the default, it's there, but like in lyrics, you take out all the important stuff, and then announcements, that only goes when you have pre-service. The announcements layer is going everywhere, except for on default, you'll see the announcements layer does go to Atrium. So if it's running, the slides can still run out in the background. All right, so that is outputs. Just go here, configure displays. You can see where they're all at here, and then over here allows you to preview each of those outputs. We'll do a separate video on stage screen, but you can also configure your stage screen to have different looks. Here's some options of ones I've made in the past, but like we have the upcoming Rice Lecture Series, we're gonna need a timer for something. You can see on that screen, we have a separate timer going. So on the main screens, you know, no timer, but then on the stage screen, the guys will be able to have a time, and this can be whatever you set it. So we'll talk more about that in a later video.